The ancient tree canopy. We know it's unbelievable to contemplate that there used to be trees in Egypt. Whole forest, actually. Many different forests, and not so long ago. The collapse of the Golden Age, the central sun demise, appears to be responsible for the extinction. Earth now tilts, but before the supernova of Saturn and the emergence of the Taurus field, people occupied these lush regions that are now desert lands. Lebanon too. Egypt, which had been importing cedar wood on a mass scale from Lebanon for centuries, they reported the first shortage around 2300 BC, when moist wind currents blew in off the ocean, coming from the west, and that north-south coastline, in the case of the Levant, is well forested. The climatic result is that it tends to rain downwind, inland. In this case, that would be eastward of the coast, as in Syria and Iraq. Shortly after Egypt noticed that Lebanon was suffering man-made deforestation, the Akkadian Empire collapsed. Wait till you hear this. The Akkadia literally had built the world's first true empire because they were the first to have a fully staffed, well-trained, permanent standing army. They were able to do this because of their massive system of agriculture. Northern Iraq, though very far from their important cities, could churn out grain in ample enough supply to maintain this massive professional army. Northern Iraq was mostly grasslands at the time, even though today it's all just sand. But drought brought into the world's first empire, the Bronze Age collapse, occurred simultaneously, bringing regular civilizations also to their knees. This was triggered by the cataclysmic demise of Saturn's glorious light. When the upwind coast is well forested, the downwind plains have reliable rainfall. The Egyptians, the Hittites, the Lebanese all contributed to the deforestation of the Levant, which brought about a swift desertification of all the downwind lands. Mesopotamia used to be tropical, jungle-like even, in some plains, but without the cedar forest of Lebanon, the downwind countries were quickly doomed. Grass turned to dust, soil into sand, lakes into mirages. It was the same for North Africa. The Sahara never used to actually reach the Mediterranean. They were coastal grasslands and forests, marshes even. But the coast of Western Africa and the northern coast were deforested heavily and even completely in many places. Wherever isolated patches were leveled by the axe, they dried up and died on their own in relatively short order. Underground water sources, aquifers, take millions of years to fill up, with the upwind forest gone, so therefore no more rainfall. Even the oases dried up, one by one, once the rain stopped. The 48 contiguous states are undergoing this very process as we speak. Another century or two without serious intervention, and the entire Midwestern United States will be a giant desert. How to prevent that? Plant coastal forests from San Francisco all the way down the entire coast to the southern tip of Baja. Mangrove forest on the water's edge, and regular forest going miles inland. This would literally make it rain in Arizona, northern Mexico, etc. We could do the same things to the Levant to make Syria and Iraq green again. The same is true for Western Africa, plus the entire Africa-Mediterranean coastline. A different example would be Chile. Chile is one giant coastline, but it's too steep, immediately sloping upwards off the ocean up the ridiculous steep and high-altitude Andes Mountains. So to get to Atacama Desert to turn green, we'd have to build an archipelago of artificial islands. Up and down the coast of Chile, we'd have to make these islands lush and forested. This would also help with greening Argentina's Patagonia Desert. It really isn't that hard to figure out. Our leaders are pathetic and their agendas are sinister, but